Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn. Earth didn't make it onto the list of the solar system's ring planets. But what if it did? Would Earth still be able to host life? When Earth was young, it most likely had a ring of rock debris around it. About 4.5 billion years ago, a planet called Io collided with Earth. The impact sent a ring of matter into Earth's orbit, but it didn't stay that way for long. The debris eventually formed the Moon. So, what if Earth suddenly developed rings like Saturn? Seeing planetary rings from Earth would be far more spectacular than just one grey rock in the sky. But if Earth got rings tomorrow, much of life on Earth might not survive the process. It wouldn't necessarily take another collision to form these rings. We could just bring the Moon closer to Earth and watch it crumble into rings. Earth's gravitational pull on the Moon isn't uniform. It's much stronger on the side closest to us. There's a limit to how close celestial bodies can be to each other before they start tearing each other apart. This is called the Roche limit. If the Moon crossed that boundary, it would break apart. For Earth, the Roche limit is around 9,500 kilometers. The rings formed from the Moon's debris would likely stretch 5,000 kilometers wide and about 9.5 kilometers thick. Unlike Saturn's icy rings, Earth's rings would be made of rock. Because Earth is too close to the Sun to retain icy debris, these rings would be visible from Earth at all times. But the Moon would lose its brilliance, or perhaps even disappear entirely. Rings around Earth would cause other changes too. They could disrupt the internal navigation systems of animals. If the rings block too much sunlight, they might hinder photosynthesis, affecting our oxygen supply. The areas under the shadow of the rings would grow so cold they'd become nearly uninhabitable. Communications satellites, which usually orbit near Earth's equator, would find themselves in the middle of a storm of rocks. Maintaining the internet and global communication would require new solutions. If Earth had always had rings, life could have evolved to adapt. But space travel might never have taken off. The rocky rings would act like an orbital barbed wire fence, keeping us grounded. And just like Saturn's rings, Earth's rings wouldn't last forever. One day, they'd start to break apart and fall to Earth. So, if the multiverse exists, maybe there's a version of Earth out there with rings, and people wondering what it's like to live on a planet without them. But that's a story for another day. Stay tuned with us.